So a lot of what I'm talking about today is it's all about positioning, and in my line of work I need to be seen at the places where I'm expected to be seen, and one of those places in my industry is the Grammys, right? I come from the music industry, I teach people how to become celebrities in their marketplace, so this is a place that I need to be seen, and a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is how you need to be seen in your marketplace, whether you're in sales, whether you're the owner, whether you're in the parts department, service department, whether you're one of the vendor partners, how do you want to be seen when people see you, right? And that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. And Tracy is, as he said, great friend. We've done a lot together over the past few years. A couple photos. This is terrible lighting there, but that's Tracy and I at the Emmys this year. That was down in Hollywood, Florida. He was there. You were there for both films, right? Yep. Casa Hogar and Esperanza, both films up for Emmy Awards. We took home 2 that night. My partner Nick for Best Director of Casa Hogar, and then Esperanza won Best Documentary. So really, really great time, and it's always great to hang out with Tracy at those events. Tracy's been to our Bestseller Summit, so we recognize best-selling authors every year. I believe this is like 2 or 3 years ago. It was a while ago. It was a little while ago, but that's me doing my Ryan Seacrest impersonation on the red carpet. So we have Tracy up there. But it's a great event, and the whole thing is, you know, at this event, I mean, I love it. He's got the red carpet in the background, he's got the backdrop, but it's the whole concept that we try to get other people to employ is that we try to make people look like they're on such a grand stage. People have to ask, Tracy, what are you doing on the red carpet? Why is a car dealer on the red carpet? Right? And that's what all of your clients should be asking you this week. Like, why are you in North Carolina on a red carpet? Right? On a Monday or a Sunday night, whatever it was, right? So why are you on a red carpet? That's the conversation that you want started. So Tracy's done a lot of cool stuff like that with us. My background, that is me. I was a rapper in a rock band. So I talk really fast, I use my hands, and I like to run around a lot, so you'll see that coming out of me. I've actually toured the country. I played everywhere from Madison Square Garden in New York City to the Knitting Factory in LA, and everywhere in between, lived in vans. Probably bought some vans from some of your dealerships over the course of the years when ours broke down, and then needed to get them fixed to get on to the next stop. But had a really, really great time. But then my wife said, you know, hey, I love this music stuff, but you dropped out of school, you don't have a job, how about you pay the bills one of these days? So, yeah, at some point, it's like, I love this rock and roll stuff, but you need to go get a job. And it was actually my wife's parents who's told me that. It wasn't actually my wife. So, hey, you kind of married our daughter, maybe you should go and try to support her in some way, shape, or form. And they took me to this crazy thing, like this internet marketing conference, right? And at the time, I'm still a young guy. It was about 8, 9 years ago now. I was 22 years old at the time. The last thing you want to do is spend the entire day with your in-laws telling you, go find something, you know, make something of yourself, go get a job. And it ended up being one of the greatest days of my life. I ended up buying everything that was sold at the back of the room, and I started selling hammocks online. Who would have thought, right? So I started my career in this world. My first business was backyardhammocks.com. I started selling bird feeders online. I started selling softball bats online. And then I always went back into the music industry because it was just a passion of mine. Once you're a musician, you're kind of always a musician. And what I found out really quickly was that, well, at first I started an agency, right? Because I wanted to be, you know, the Ari Gold of the music industry. Watch Entourage at all. And what I found out really quickly was musicians didn't want to pay some 20-something kid $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $5,000, $10,000 a month retainer to do their marketing. They'd rather go to the bar and spend their $5, $10 on another beer or another cocktail, right? So I had this crazy idea to take all this information that I was selling at, you know, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month to these major labels, and I said, what if I just shot a couple videos and sold it online as a product? And that's exactly what I did. The first product I ever created, I went to Home Depot and they have these huge, like, slabs of whiteboard, and they're huge. They're like 4 feet by 12 feet, and I had them cut them in thirds, and I literally nailed it to my bedroom. My wife's super happy with me still, right? So I'm nailing these whiteboards into our bedroom, and it wasn't even a flip camera. It was before a flip camera was cool, and I put it on a bar stool, so I had no idea you can have tripods, you know, when you're a broke 20-something-year-old kid. So I put it on a bar stool, and the bar stool wasn't high enough to film me, because I'm, you know, 6 feet tall. So I put books on top of the bar stool, right, to make the bar stool high enough, and I hit record, and I ran in front of the whiteboard, and I was like, hey, what up? This is Greg, and I'm going to teach you cool stuff. And that's exactly what I did. Unedited, the whole thing, 4 videos. They're still online today. We've sold something like 9,000 copies of them to musicians all over the world. Created an entire business from it, from $500 products to $50 a month kind of club style things, and anywhere and everything in between. And my partner Nick Nanton, who is a producer of Carmen and all the other documentaries that we do, said, hey, stop selling $50 stuff to musicians and start selling stuff to people who have money. And I thought it was a really, really novel idea, right? So now I get to come and speak to guys like you. I get to do some really, really cool things, from the Grammy Awards to speaking all over the country, now speaking all over the world. I've been in Europe a bunch of times, invited to speak over there. So it's really fun, and I talk a lot about using information as marketing, because information really is the ultimate positioning and leverage point that you have. Sharing your knowledge, sharing the stuff that you know is really the most valuable marketing step that you have, because you come across as an expert. You don't come across as a salesman, and that's probably one of the biggest differentiators I want you guys to make, is even if you're in sales, you never want to be seen as a salesman, because people, we're scared crapless of salesmen, right? We kind of freeze up, we tense up, but if you're seen as the expert, and more importantly, in our lingo, if you're seen as the celebrity expert, well, people are attracted to you. They want to ask you questions. They come in pre-framed and predetermined to do business with you before they even walk in the door, because, oh my God, I can't believe I'm working with you. I've seen your podcast like 6 or 7 times. I've seen your videos online, and they're already sold, right? So that's a lot of what we're going to be talking about today. This is my little dude, Colton. I always throw him in there because I miss him. I haven't seen him in about 2 weeks now. So really cool little dude, 1 year old, and we're already teaching him to surf. It's the benefits of not being in a snowy part of the country. So, all right, so all my fonts are a little off because I guess we're using a different version of Keynote, but we'll survive, right? So the real question in this whole thing is really, what is the difference between a celebrity and you? Anybody with a guess? There's actually one major difference.
People know celebrities.
Yeah, and how do they know them? Because of media. It's really the only difference between a celebrity and you is that they have media. Right? They're on TV, they're on the radio, they're in newspapers, they're in gossip magazines. They're just more known because of the media, right? That's really the only thing, right? So you got guys like Ryan Seacrest. Right? He's no more talented than I am. At least I don't think so. But he's got a daily syndicated radio show, right? He's on E! News. He's the producer of all the Kardashian shows. He's the host of, Rockin' Eve, on New Year's Eve. He's got American Idol, all these different things. All he has is just different media outlets, and that's why he's more known than I am, right? Because I got a couple podcasts that a couple thousand people listen to. Right? But he's got distribution outlets where millions upon millions of people listen to him, right? You got folks like the good old Kardashians, right? People say, well, they're not really talented. Well, they're not, but they have media. So all of a sudden, they're instantly talented. If Tracy comes out with a t-shirt, right, that says unfair on it, and he sells it for $20, put the Kardashians behind it, that's now a $100 t-shirt. There's no difference in the material, no difference in the quality, no difference in the message, but the fact that it's coming from a Kardashian gives it that much leverage. People are magnetically attracted to that for whatever crazy reason, right? But now you take it to the business world, and you have people like Susie Orman, right? She's not the most talented financial advisor in the world. She's not even like registered as a financial advisor, but every mom, my wife, my parents, or my wife's parents, they all trust her more than the financial advisor because she has a TV show. For no other reason, right? Her stock picks aren't good. Her advice is usually terrible, especially for guys. We're hoes when she's talking about us, right? But because she has media and she's seen as the celebrity, people trust her for advice more than they trust us for advice, right? Dr. Phil, same exact situation. He's no smarter than any other psychologist. He's no smarter than any other weight loss guy. Probably your CrossFit trainer down the street is more educated than this guy as to what actually gets you results, but he has media, right? The only difference between these guys, right? So the secret then has to be that you just got to get on media, right? That's the whole secret of this whole game. Is to be a celebrity, you got to get on media, and that's not really the case, right? It's not just the media, especially for what we're talking about, because most of us here in the room, except for me, don't want to be Ryan Seacrest or Dr. Phil or one of those guys. We just want to be the most known person to the people that want to buy our stuff. That's all. We want to be on the top of the mind only of the people that want to buy our stuff. Right? We don't care what anybody else thinks. We just want to be top of mind when someone wants this car or someone needs this type of service. That's the only thing that we really care about. So if just media was the case, everyone that was on the local news and got a 2, 3, 4, 5-minute spot would be millionaires. Right? If it was just media. Right? But it's not the case. My partner Nick always talks about, he was featured in the New York Times. He had a full-page spread on the front page of the New York Times about one of the projects he was working on. How many phone calls did he get from that? One, from a guy selling him framing of the fact that he was in the New York Times, right? So it's not about being in the media, but you have to be seen in the media because that's what people trust. People trust Susie Orman because she's in the media, right? So you need that as a part of it. So if it's not getting on the media, what is it, right? So the three things that we're going to talk about today are you do have to access major media credentials. And a lot of you guys have that or have that by association, right? You need the as seen on stuff. It is very, very powerful because people trust those logos. They trust that if you were on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, that if you were in the New York Times, you were in the USA Today, you were in Forbes magazine, Inc. magazine, you were in the local newspaper, whatever it was, they trust it. Well, they don't just put any Joe Schmo up on the USA Today, right? That's what people think, right? So the media credentials is a big part of it. The second part, this is what I'm going to spend pretty much the entire time talking about, is how to insert that into the media that you actually own and control, which is your marketing, right? This is the powerful stuff is how do you take that celebrity and channel it into your marketing so people come to you super excited to talk to you. And then the third thing we're going to talk about is going kind of that extra step. A lot of what Tracy talks about, I mean, he shows up like nobody else will. And when you show up like nobody else will, you're on a playing field that no one else can even compete with you, right? So, and it's really the cool thing is they're little things. And they're little things that don't cost a lot of money, but they go a very, very long way. So we're going to talk about these three things in detail. I want this to kind of turn into a dialogue because I want to really help you to use this stuff, not just have 17 pages of notes. I know what it's like to go home with 17 pages of notes, and those 17 pages of notes go on a shelf, and then you don't use them. And that's not my intent here. I want you to use this stuff so next time you guys meet up in June, you're like, dude, what Greg said, I actually did, and I got results. And that would be more powerful to me than having 17 pages of notes. So the first thing we're going to talk about, getting access to major media credentials, right? So the cool thing is that if you're buying any type of media, right, if you're doing commercials on TV, on the radio, you're buying full-page ads in newspapers, well, you've been seen in all of those publications. Right? So a lot of people take that for granted that because you're buying commercial time, well, you were still on an ABC network. You were still on an NBC network. You were still on a Clear Channel radio station, whatever the local station is by you. So if you're already buying those types of media, well, tell people that you're on those types of media, right? Market your marketing, right? It sounds a little counterproductive, but it makes a whole lot of sense. So if you're running ads on ABC, tell people that you're running ads on ABC because now they trust you. Like, oh, he's on ABC. They didn't even see the fact that you're running ads on ABC. They just saw, oh, Tracy's on ABC. Tracy's on NBC, right? So the first way to do this, and I don't know if I can do this from over here, major media credentials are just the logos. Going back to this, all these logos are the ones that people know, like, and trust, right? So in your market, think about the logos that make sense to your marketplace, right? If they're very conservative, maybe Fox Radio, maybe Fox TV, Fox News, maybe you know, the channel that Rush Limbaugh's got this talk show on. Those probably are maybe the places that you want to be seen. Maybe there's a certain newspaper. If you're liberal, there's the liberal channels as well. Just find the ones that make sense to your marketplace. If you got a lot of housewives coming in, you know, maybe you want to be in a certain newspaper. Maybe you want to be, if you got a lot of high-end, Tracy was telling me there's guys from like BMW and stuff like that, so you want to be in the local golf magazines that are at all the country clubs, right? Because those are the ones that they see when they go golfing. So think about your marketplace and what logos mean something to them, right? So I have the fortune of being all different kinds of media because of what we do, but I pick and choose what logos I use in my marketing based on the market that I'm going to go after. If I'm going after the young internet marketing crowd, I might say that I was on TechCrunch, or I was featured on Mashable, or I was featured on AppSumo, but that means nothing to you guys, right? Because most people are like, I have no idea what's an AppSumo, right? It doesn't mean anything. But if I come in here and I say, yeah, I was just seen in Forbes magazine, and I was just seen in Inc. magazine, and Fast Company, those logos mean more to this marketplace. So pick and choose the ones that make sense to your market, right? So really think about that when you're putting this together. So how do you get them, right? I already said you probably have more than you think already, right? So if you've run any type of advertising, you have. If you've ever been featured, on a quick story, if you ever run a press release and it got picked up by some type of media, right? You have some of these logos. So think about that because you probably have more more than you think you have, and you're not using them, right? You don't have them on your website. You're not sending them out in your ads and your flyers. If you're doing postcards, on your postcards, say you might have seen our ad running on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, or this channel, or you might have heard us on the radio on, W40 QAM or whatever it is. Tell people that you're in the media because it buys you credentials, it buys you celebrity power, because now they're not just getting an ad from you, right? Oh, another postcard for another oil change, yeah. Oh, wait, this guy was on ABC, NBC, CBS, this guy's the guy, right? It sounds silly as I'm saying it, but that's the way people think. They really have this relationship with celebrities, and you want to be that celebrity in their life. So you can buy them, right? So if you're running ads, you can buy celebrity, right? You can also get them organically. So we have ways at our agency. We shoot 6 different TV shows a year. This is one of them on the set. This is where we film one of our shows as well. America's Grammar Experts. I think, Tracy, you've been on one of these at some point in time. Where you come in, it's my partner Nick, he's a 3-time Emmy Award winner. So you get credentials of now being interviewed by an Emmy Award winner. This is not pitched, but I'm just telling you what we do. And you get on the show, we interview you for like 7 to 10 minutes, and we get it aired on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates across the country. So now instantly, you're buying ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. You're buying the use of the logos in your marketing material, right? So that's one way to do it. The biggest thing is you want access to use this phrase in your marketing, as seen in or on, right? And that should be everywhere, right? From your website to any sales letters, to postcards, to direct mail pieces, to catalogs, to the stuff that you're wearing around the office. If you've been on this media, one of the biggest things you can do is take a screenshot of a still frame and frame that in your office, right? So this, I don't even know if I can go back, but taking this, blowing it up and framing it in your office and putting like a plaque on it, and Jim Jones as seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates across the country. Now you're letting your walls talk for you. Tracy does an incredible job of letting his walls talk for you. He's talking about the Apple TV. He's letting his walls do the talking for him, right? So they say, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't even know if you have it up, but you have the big golden reel of when you were seen on the Bio channel, right? This thing it's stupid, right? It's like this big, and it's a big golden reel. And it says, presented to Tracy Myers as seen on Profile Success on the Bio channel. So people go out, what the heck is that? It's a conversation starter immediately. Say, oh yeah, our documentary that was filmed on our owner was seen on the Bio channel. How huge is that? Now, the whole perception of all this is now I'm not going to buy a car from Tracy. I'm going to see a celebrity who happens to want to sell me a car, right? That's the change in thinking that you want people to have. I'm not going to buy a car from Tracy. I'm going to go hang out with a Hollywood celebrity who happens to sell cars, right? And that's really what Tracy has been able to manufacture over the past few years by doing all of these different things, right? So you want to use that phrase. So Tracy, this is his Facebook page right at the top. Yep. I grabbed this last night, but look, as seen on, all those different things. That makes Tracy seem really, really important. Now he is, right? But if you've never seen him before, it's instant credibility to be like, wow, he's a nationally recognized car dealer owner, 3 #1 books on Amazon, 5-time Telly Award winner for the film Carman, award-winning speaker, and then as seen on, automatically you think this guy is someone important. This guy is someone I need to talk to. He's someone that I want to mess with and do business with, right? And the problem is most people hide all of that. They're scared of that. They're ashamed of that. Below, I just grabbed a screenshot from one of our clients, just right at the top of this website, as seen on NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox, USA Today. Instantly, there's trust with this person because he is seen in the media. All right? So you can get them organically as a contributor. So if you're contributing content to local blogs, local magazines, if I was talking with someone this morning about sending press releases out to their local community, trying to get picked up. Obviously, if you get picked up, use that, right? Leverage the fact that you've been on those medias in your marketing materials. And all it takes is once. Once you've been seen on ABC, you've been seen on ABC. Right? It doesn't mean that you don't want to continue to be seen on those networks. But once you've been seen on it once, you can use that logo for life, right? A lot of you guys have charity ties, so if you can get your charity on ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, and you're, a contributor, so you can kind of, you got to draw your own ethical line. But if you can get, the charity at your dealership or whatever it is on one of those networks, you can still utilize it as well. So try to get it organically. At the end of the day, the goal is just to get them, right? Celebrities have them, you need them, right? If you want to be seen and positioned in that way, you need them, right? So this is where we're going to spend the majority of the time, is using this stuff in your marketing, right? Because we want to make money from this. We don't just want to pump and inflate our egos. There's too much of that to go around. We want to actually use this to make money, to sell more cars, to get people back in doing business with you. So when I talk about your own media, what do I mean by your own media? So email, right? Your email is a huge line of communication, and it's something that you should be using every day to communicate with your folks, and it's a great way to use positioning. I'm going to show you guys how to write some emails using some of this celebrity stuff and this positioning as we go. Obviously in direct mail, right? So if you're sending out any kind of mailers, flyers, postcards, sales letters, are you putting the logos on the envelopes? One thing I talk about with direct mail all the time is the envelope is the equivalent to the subject line. If your envelope isn't good enough to get opened, well, they never read the sales letter that's inside. If your subject line in an email stinks and doesn't get open, doesn't create intrigue, the message and the offer can be great, right? So spend more time on the envelope and the subject line, right? A lot of people just skip over that. Just throw it in a number 10 envelope, throw a logo on it, and let's go, right? Is there a compelling message that can get that person to open? Books, right? I know Tracy obviously huge into books. And, I saw you got a book over there as well. I mean, books, huge. Instant. Celebrities have books, right? How many, who was I seeing in the airport? Oh man, they all have them now. But, even Obama needs to write 17 books before he gets reelected, right? So everybody has books. It's the ultimate credibility tool. What I love about books is it's a tangible display of your expertise. They know that you at least know this much. Right? They tangibly know that you know at least this much. Now the problem comes in is if it's just 2 lines on each page, but it's a tangible display of your expertise, right? Books still have a calling card that celebrities have. CDs and DVDs, right? So this is really, really big. Is it something that they can listen to? What do celebrities are where? Right? They're musicians, so they have CDs. Celebrities are in movies, so they have DVDs. So why shouldn't you have them as well? Right? Carmen, great example, right? So Tracy's DVD, Carmen, he is a celebrity. He's got a movie shot about him. You don't have to go that extreme. I'd love it if you did, but just having a DVD of the things that you do. Again, celebrities are in movies. You want to be in movies. Same with CDs, and I'll show you some cool strategies for that later. But what you guys did here yesterday, the podcast, the radio show that you guys did live. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you could be doing in your dealership, interviewing the local mayor, interviewing the local whoever, bring in different stars, bring in a restaurateur, bring in a guy that owns maybe a wine bar or something, and interviewing them, and then repurposing them onto CDs. And that could now be a drip system for a referral program. It could be a drip system that you put in a new client welcome package. So, thanks for buying a car from us. Wanted to share these 4 great interviews with 4 great local businesses that I think you should check out, right? So again, it's taking that content, repurposing it for this stuff. Newsletters, I'm going to talk about in great detail. They're my favorite thing in the world to do. Podcasts, just kind of what I was just talking about. So the things that you guys saw yesterday, those are the things that you can be doing. Who are the people that you can interview, right? Can you interview someone who buys a car? Have someone interview someone who buys a car where they're the most excited, interview them for 5-10 minutes, plop it up on iTunes, and now you got a testimonial that's on iTunes. Who's on iTunes? Lady Gaga. Right? So you're just as cool as Lady Gaga, right? But now you make your client feel like a celebrity because they just bought a car and now they're on iTunes where Lady Gaga is. So they're like, hey, you can go buy the new Miley Cyrus CD or you can go check out my podcast. It's on iTunes, right? So now you're transferring celebrity to the people that you're buying a car from, right? Very, very powerful strategy there. On your website, right? That's kind of an obvious one. Social media, video. I can't say enough about video because that, again, is where celebrities are seen. They're seen on TMZ. They're seen on E! News Hollywood. They're seen on all these places, so you want to be there as well. So, yes?
When you say video where?
Everywhere, right? So, YouTube, obviously, it's kind of universal. Right now, I was having a discussion with Troy Tracy last night. The hottest source of video right now, I think, is iTunes and an iTunes video podcast. Because A, you'll be the only person in your market that's doing it. B, you get the celebrity of iTunes. It's really good Google juice, too. So Google loves Apple for that purpose because they know that Apple doesn't let in bad content. The people that buy stuff in iTunes are a very fluent marketplace. Their credit cards are stored in there. The people that do stuff from iTunes end up being very high-value buyers. So that's probably my favorite place right now. In the office, right? So having video playing, looped video playing. So Tracy was talking about the Apple TV, so having the still photos, but also having video playing. So loops of things, interviews that you've been on, clients doing things around. It's just motion. People just love it, and other people love seeing themselves in video, right? So really, really cool. We can talk. I think I go a little more in depth into video, but right now, YouTube and then taking the YouTube embed link and putting it on your site so you get all the Google juice. I'm not a Google guy by any means, but there's people way more smarter than me there. But right now, iTunes, I think, is the greatest opportunity for people, both on audio and video. Sorry. So I kind of skipped that, but the most powerful media is the media that's seen by the people that need what you do, right? This is kind of a big misconception that if, you know, I were to say, hey, do you want to be on the Today Show this morning? Everybody in this room would be like, sure, I want to be interviewed by Matt Lauer, be on the Today Show, but it's seen by whatever, 300,000 people, but how many people are there in your hometown that want to buy a car, they want to buy one right now? And also, when is the last time that you watched the Today Show or live with, who is it, Michael and Kelly? I don't even know who it is now these days. When's the last time you watched one of those shows and you're like lounging back in the chair, and you're drinking your coffee, and you're like, whoa, I gotta buy that. It's never happened, ever, right? You've never been watching an interview, you've never been watching Letterman or Conan and jumped up and bought the product, right? It's because those medias aren't really made to sell stuff. In that capacity, we want to sell stuff. We want to do what's called direct response media. We want media that people see it and they go, I want to buy that, right? And they call, they go to a website, they go to an email, and they give you money, right? That's my favorite kind of media, where I send something out and someone writes me a check, right? And that's what everybody in this room wants. So our purpose is to have media that only goes out to the people that want to write us checks, which means there's two types of people that this goes to: your prospect list and your customer list, right? These are people that are predetermined to want to give you money. They're the two most underutilized assets that you probably have, because you're always trying to get the new person. Who's the most expensive person to get? The new person. The new person, right? You have all these prospects that came in, and they test drove something, they came in, they looked around, and they left. That guy is very valuable to you because you know he's looking for what you got, right? So now it's up to you to insert all this celebrity stuff into marketing to get that person on the hook to buy something. We'll talk a lot about that. It was funny, again at dinner last night, so a lot of our clients are kind of in the financial advisor space, and they're in the retirement space. And if you're of a certain age, you get a lot of these invitations in the mail to go to a steak dinner, where basically they buy you a steak dinner and then they pitch you on some annuities or some type of life insurance product or whatever for retirement, right? And at that meeting, they get 30 people or so out to the meeting, and they do their spiel, and then they book appointments to then sell that life insurance. Well, and it was funny, I was talking to Tracy last time, I'm like, the purpose is actually kind of the same. You do this marketing and advertising, you get someone to test drive a car. That test drive is almost the same as the dinner meeting. Really similar kind of fashion. Then you get people to either buy or they don't buy, right? And so are you following up with a system with the people that don't buy, right? And I think that is probably the most powerful thing that you guys have, is the person that comes in, that does something, that they raised their hand, they got out of their comfy couch, they put on their nice shoes, and they came to see you, and then they didn't buy, right? And we always kind of get sad and depressed when people say no to us, but I was watching this video the other day, and online, on the internet, right, if you get a 2 or 3% conversion ratio on sales of like info products, so when I'm selling like information, right, if I can get a 2% sales ratio on that, I'm winning. That means 98% of the people said no, right? So if you don't have a follow-up mechanism for these people that said no, you're literally throwing money away. So I really want you guys to see that today, that the prospect list and the customer list is so vital for you. So let's talk about prospect media, right? When prospects come in and they don't know you, you get to be their guy. You get to be their expert. You get to be their guru. You get to be their solution, because they don't have one. They're looking for the guy. They're looking for, I have this problem, my car broke down, I need a new one. I have this problem, I want to upgrade, I need a solution. You get to be that person, right? And most of the time, people just aren't really up to the challenge of becoming that person, becoming that, we call it a celebrity expert. You can call it a guru, you can call it a maven, you can call it whatever you want to call it. You get to be that person, but you only get to be that person if you manufacture that expertise, right? You have to manufacture the process. It doesn't happen organically and naturally. You have to actually teach people that you're the guy, right? They don't automatically know that you've won 3 Telly Awards and you've been to the Grammys and you've been to the Emmys. They don't know any of that stuff before they come in, so it's up to you to show it to them, but you also can't be an ass with it at the same time, right? There is a very, very fine line. But you have to throw it into some of the marketing so when they come in, they are so excited to do business with you. They're excited to drive that car. They're excited to get service done. They're excited for whatever it is that you offer. So it starts by telling your story. All right? This is like square one, is you've got to tell your story. They need to know who you are, where you came from, that you're a family-owned business, that you're a self-made guy, that you started this car lot with 2 cars and now you got 2,000. They need to know that story, right? So, this guy, who can tell me his story?
Batman.
Yeah, and how did he become Batman?
His parents were killed. I wanted to take revenge.
Boom. Parents were killed, wanted to take revenge, sought vengeance, became Batman. Vigilante. Okay, nice. Gotham City.
Yeah, well, plus he's Don Quixote.
Yeah.
He's a wealthy man who should walk away, but he decides to lean forward. He says, not in front of me, not in my sight. It will not happen.
Yeah, I love it. And everybody in this room knows that story at some level. Even if you've never bought a comic book, read a comic book, or seen the movie, you know somewhat of that story, right? That's why story is so powerful. So this guy, same thing. What's this guy's story? Clark Kent.
From planet Krypton.
Yeah. I love it. But everybody, again, in this room knows this guy's story. They know so much about him, right? And it's because the story has been told, and it's been told to someone else, and it's been told again, and the story's been told again, and the story's been told in movies, and the story's been told in comic books, and the story's been told in TV series, and the story's been told over and over and over again, that it almost just becomes, well, it is folklore, right? Everyone knows the story. Do your clients, your customers, heck, do even your employees know your story as well as they know Superman's, as well as they know Batman's, as well as they know Captain America or Iron Man or whatever? Replace it with whoever, right? Do they know the story? Can they tell the story? Right? Very, very powerful that you get that message across because it's stories that you're going to remember. People don't remember facts and figures. With cars, you get a little more because you get some people that know the engines and they want to know the parts and stuff. I get that. But they remember the story. They remember the experience. They remember that the guy that went to Tracy Meyer's place and they played the video games and the Xbox and then they rang the gongy thing. They remember that. They don't remember any of the facts about the car. But they remember the experience and the story. They remember that when they were talking to the sales rep was telling them how, Tracy took it over from his dad, who took it over from his dad, and, they were buying cotton candy for a penny and selling it for a nickel and doing that. They know that story. And if your people don't know your story and your clients don't know that story, well, you're missing out on a big piece of the pie because when they leave, and they go to, when they're out socially and they say, oh, great, got a new car, awesome, and you start talking about your new car, are they telling your story?
They're telling their story.
Right. But can you manufacture the fact that, yeah, I got it and this and that, and the experience was great, and oh man, Tracy did, and oh man, Jim, and he was telling me about this, and you need to go check this place out. Right? You want that story to happen, but you have to manufacture it. Your sales reps aren't going to do it, if you are a salesperson. You have to do it on purpose. You have to get them to tell that story, right? So crafting your origin story, it's really formulaic in how you do it, right? So where are you from? Small town, big city. Did you go to the same high school as everyone that you work with and no one ever grew up out of it? Or are you the big fish in the small pond? Are you the person that's in New York City and you overcame all the noise? Did you come from big city to small city? Where are you from, right? Your parents, your family, your siblings, right? Are you a family-owned business? Are you, do you have 17 brothers and sisters? Are you the Octomom's kids? Are you, what do you have going on, right? Did you and your brother go into business together? Is your, like my brother, so I told you guys earlier, I'm a former rapper in a rock band. My brother went off and started doing rodeos and cowboy stuff, right? So we have that polar opposite story, right? So what are the stories that you have with your siblings that you can tell, right? Lessons from your youth, right? You ever Married with Children fans? Anybody, right?
Yeah.
What's the Al Bundy story, right?
Yeah,
Hulk high, 4 touchdowns, right? But do you have lessons from your youth? Are there stories that you can say, I got my first job when I was 16, I worked at the Target, and ever since then I knew I never wanted to be my own boss. So do you have those stories from your youth? Because we all relate to them, right? All of our glory days are in high school, right? Or at least there's some level of that, right? So what are some lessons you can take? First job, first business, right? this is, my first time in business. I started doing this, and it didn't work out, so now I started doing this, and then I started doing this, right? The big thing about these stories is they have to have some vulnerability to be believable, right? So there has to be something, right? Superman has kryptonite. The only reason he has kryptonite is for believability, that if he's too unstoppable, we don't believe it. There has to be something that can take it down, right? So in my story, when I was talking about it earlier, if I went into the longer version, before my wife's parents told me to do something with my life, we had booked a 25-city U.S. tour, and we were opening for a band called Rehab, who was on the radio at the time. Huge, big break. We were going to be playing like 500 to 1,000 person venues all across the country. 2 days before we were supposed to leave, my guitar player and my bass player quit the band. This was 2 weeks after I got married. I had taken all of our wedding money that we're supposed to go buy new china and all that stuff with, and I bought a new trailer, I bought gear, I bought hats, I bought shirts, I bought CDs, and then the band quit, broke out, right? Vulnerability in the story. We were riding high, came to a level. Parents took the internet marketing thing, found internet marketing, sold products, have a nice business, right? You have to have the ebbs and flows in your story to make it believable, right? And people can relate to that. I talk to so many people who, after I speak, will be at the bar after later, like, dude, I was in a band in high school, and so you start to relate on that kind of personal level. I can't believe you did that. You're going on tour, and they'll tell me a wedding story about how my in-laws, I can't believe it. So it's those little pieces and the vulnerability in the story that make it real. If you've overcome cancer, if you've overcome a medical condition, if you've overcome something in your life, right? You want to talk about it because it makes it more real, right? Then obviously you got to have connection to your market, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So Carmen, if you guys haven't seen it, see it, because this is the ultimate core story, origin story, and obviously in your business. And if you guys don't have them, Tracy's got a couple in the corner. That is an origin story. Every person, potential customer, if you got every potential customer to watch that before they came in, you wouldn't have to do any work, because they are pre-sold. I mean, there are like catchphrases in that, just in the first minute and 30 seconds, right?
T-shirts galore, yeah. We're like, that's a shirt.
Everything turns to gold.
That's a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but if someone watches that for 22 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it is, they see that, they watched your story for 25 minutes, they know more about your life than they can ever know about their best friends, than they can know about anyone, right? That is the definition of a core story, so watch that. So, how do you tie it back into your marketplace? Well, you tie it into what your marketplace wants. So we use this thing called affinity. That's where the connection points are, right? Especially most of you guys are in local markets, so there's sports, right? College sports, huge, right? Especially in the South, right? Roll Tide, right?
Go Oregon.
Yeah, see? There it is. We'll start up. I don't care for Roll Tide. It's just one that really resonates. I'm a UCF fan. We hit number 10 this year. We beat Baylor in the Sugar Bowl, so I'm super happy. So, there we go. But sports, there's an instant connection, right? They know you're from Tennessee and you got Tennessee volunteer stuff all in your office. There's an instant connection there because you can talk about the game while you show up. There's an instant connection point that drops the BS meter to where we can just talk about the game. We can talk about the sports. Super Bowl's coming up this week, right? Are you talking about the game at all? Are you doing some kind of promotion or fun thing for the Super Bowl this week, right? So sports, huge. People in America love sports. Pets. You have the dog that's out in the service department. But are you using him in your marketing? Because dog lovers love what? Dog lovers, right? Cat lovers love cat lovers. I start showing you a picture of my dog and you're a dog lover, you're going to start pulling out and showing me pictures of your dog, and 20 minutes later, it's crazy, right? So if you have that, use it, right? If you don't have it, don't use it. But if you got it, use it, right? Military background, right? Marines love Marines. Army people love Army people. Veterans love veterans. If you have some of that, use it in your marketing. If you got a guy in the service department who's 20-year veteran in the military, why don't you use that in your marketing when Veterans Day is coming around? Come meet Marty. Marty's been around 20 years serving, whatever you can use, but use that because the people who are in that same life, or maybe they have sons and daughters that are in the military right now. It's so silly, but that one connection point might be the reason that they do business with you versus doing business with somebody else, because now we have some type of connection. You're not just a sales guy anymore. You're a sales guy that cares about the military. I care about that. I'm going to do business with you, right? That one little thing, right? High school or college, obviously, small town, I had the same math teacher that you had, and our grandparents had the same math teacher, and they never disappeared, right? Can you talk about that? principals, schools, cafeterias, if you're doing events there, colleges, obviously, if you're in a college area, use that stuff to your advantage. So the next couple are a little touchy, but religion, right? I talk to a lot of groups. I actually have a client right now in New Jersey. They're real estate investors, and one's Muslim, one's Jewish, one's African American, and the other is Italian. And we have 4 different campaigns that just go to those 4 different marketplaces, with each of them focus on that. We hit the Muslim community hard. Say, if you're a Muslim looking to make dollars this year, looking at real estate, blah, 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 and we talk about all the things that go on in that with the religion, do you think that speaks really well to the people who get it, right? Now, I wouldn't send it to the 7-year-old Jewish lady, right? She'd be turned off. But if you have some of those things with race and religion, right, utilize it, right? Obviously, you've got to be very careful there. So I said it's a little touchy, but it works really good if you can segment and target. Politics, same thing. I know it's touchy. People don't like to talk about it, but if you have a certain segment of your base, utilize it. Race, same thing. Hobbies is kind of crazy, but golf would be a huge one, right? If you're going to the affluent marketplace, if you're selling high-priced cars, they like to golf, right? Trunk space, great for golf, right? But can you talk about the courses? Can you go out and do promotions and things with them? Wine's a big one now. Craft beer is a big thing right now. Are you home brewing out of your dealership? I don't know, whatever. Fantastic. Tracy, let's get that happening. But hobbies, right? I mean, to the silliest things, a hobby, especially a closet hobby that I don't want to tell people, that you kind of have, but the other person who has that same closet hobby, there's a huge connection there, like the silly, like quilting or Magic the Gathering. And I'm not saying you use that in your marketing, but if there is some type of affinity or connection there, you got that, Mike. Yeah.
I think everybody loves closet karaoke, but they're afraid to admit it.
There you go. There you go. But the little hobbies, right? These little things are the reason I'm going to do business with you and not with you, because I have a small connection with you right now. All right? So where do we tell this story, right? So we got all these great ideas. I know that I'm going to talk about my sports team and stuff now. Well, how do I actually do that, right? So this is a dude out in Oregon. His name is John Sellers, and he's a real estate agent, and he owns a brokerage out there. Well, first thing, we plop his face on everything, so we want people to know who he is before they even walk in the door, right? So we want people to know that this is John, this is John's thing, John's the guy. Oh my God, I can't believe John's sitting right there, and I get to talk to him, right? So these are, we have about 10 of these that we've created for him. They're all print-based. We mailed them out in mass. They're 8 to 12 page. We call them like magazines, but they're really just, they're really brochures and catalogs. They're just made to look like a magazine because we're celebrities, they're in magazines, right? So we want them to look like an Inc. magazine, a GQ magazine, an Us Weekly. We want our marketing to look like the materials that they're already using, right? So on the left is Southern Oregon Real Estate Blueprint. We send that out. I send it out to about 1,000 people in his market every month, and he rotates them. And it's an 8-page, sends it in a huge 9x12 clear envelope so they can see it when it's coming to them. So again, we use the envelope to our advantage. But the entire thing is like a magazine. It reads like a magazine. There's articles. There's a letter from the editor, which is from John. There's articles about what's going on. There's an article about the local sports scene. There's articles about the local charity. But it's really propaganda. It's a sales letter, but it's made to look like a magazine, right? Same thing on the home, I think that's the home buyer's guide, I don't know, home seller's guide. We have the home buyer's guide, we have the home reseller's guide, we have the first time home buyer's guide, we have like 30 of these, but they all read like a magazine. Slick paper, photos everywhere, captions under the photos. But so from the letter from the editor on the first page, when you turn it open, it's John on the red carpet, it's John getting some award, it's John's best-selling book here, and so we interweave all the celebrity stuff into the sales message, right? Will, you can pass those out if you want. I got one of my own for celebrity expert marketing that I'll pass you out now. And this morning I was doing my slides, and where's FedEx when you need them, because I got them shipped last night, and I was hoping they'd show up by 8 o'clock, and they did. So good job, FedEx. But so you can kind of see the feel, the way we lay them out. So he's passing one of those around right now. But this one we modeled after an Inc. magazine. So if you Google Inc. magazine covers, you will see this. We literally swiped it from Inc. magazine, and instead of Inc., it just says CXM at the top. We used all the kind of like the headlines that they use, and it's made to feel that way because I don't want people to feel like they're reading a sales letter, because if they're reading a sales letter, they're what? They're being sold, right? And they put up a line of defense. I don't want them to have a line of defense. I want them to read it and be like, holy crap, this is cool stuff. Oh, maybe I should hire Greg, right? That's really what I want people to do when they read the thing. So Don't read them now. You got a long flight in snowy weather to read them. But that way you guys have some kind of a sample of this in action. I really wanted you to see that. You know, and take note to the photos. Take note to the captions on the photos. Take notes to how we kind of laid the whole thing out. This is the kind of stuff that you can do in your market really easily. It's the first-time car buyer's guide. The how to sell your car guide. How to buy a used car. How to buy a new car. How to get your car inspected. The service guy's guide. All of those things should be magazines, but they shouldn't be corporate literature. They should be very personality and celebrity driven because they want the guy to tell them what to do. They don't want the corporation telling them what to do. Stick it to the man, all right? I want Tracy to be like, you know what? After doing this for 25 years, this and that, or I don't know. I did a terrible accent there, but but after doing this, here are my things, and after seeing this and that, and when I went to the Grammys, I realized that service was a huge part of what we do, and I saw how they rolled out the red carpet, so we roll out our red carpet. But if you talk in that language to them, they're reading along with you. They're reading the story. They're not reading the 4 points to service success, and it's just boring. It's dry. You want living, breathing personality because you want them to come into your office. Like, man, I read your thing. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that you were at the Grammys. And after I saw that, I just had to keep reading. I couldn't put it down. And I can't. You told me those 4 things to look at. So now when I get in the car, I'm going to look at that one thing you told me. That's what you want them to have when they come in. And the cool thing is, especially with email, you can send this stuff before they even get into the office. So, hey, I want to come in and check out this car. Do you still got it? Yeah, sure. What's your email? I wanted to shoot you this thing real quick, right? And you can be sending this stuff to them instantly, right? So. This is just a sample email copy of some of the stuff that we do. So this is for a financial advisor. And I'll read it because it's very difficult to read probably in the back. So this is a financial advisor. He sends out direct mail propaganda to get people to come to a dinner where he's going to sell them life insurance products, right? So everyone that is in that age group is getting tons of these in the mail every week, right? They're getting the come to the steakhouse, I'll buy you dinner, and you're getting sold. So we wanted to flip that, and we wanted him to be seen as the expert, right? So hey Nate, Mark Witt from Witt Financial Group here today. I want to take a moment personally. Thank you for RSVPing to our upcoming workshop or for seeing you there, blah, blah, blah. Before you come out to the event, I wanted to send you a special gift today. Think of it as a bonus from me to you just for taking action and taking control of your retirement. Included in this package is a special report based on the chapter that I wrote for my new book, Successonomics, which I co-authored alongside best-selling author and speaker Steve Forbes. In the chapter, I cover 5 things, blah, blah, blah. This is my gift to you to go over before we meet at the workshop. I thought you'd enjoy it and appreciate the information. It gives you a chance to get to know me a little better before we meet in person. Right? Just very little, subtle. I care about you. Here's a special gift. And I'll make sure I get you guys all these slides too. I'm sure those camera phone photos are going to be legible. Huh?
And the subtlety of Steve.
And the subtlety of Steve Forbes, right? I didn't rub it in the face. Yeah, I just wrote this book, with Steve Forbes. He's just ran for president and runs the biggest multi media company in the world, right? But it's very subtle, right? It's under the radar, right? And so then I send him along like one of those reports. I took his chapter. So we do a lot of the collaboration books, where we have 20, 30 authors, 40 authors in a book. Well, I just took his chapter and turned it into one of those. And on the front, you see a little starburst on the bottom right. This one just says we're a member of the DNA company. On that one, I just said an excerpt from the best-selling book, Successonomics, right, with Steve Forbes. So that's all we did there, and it's just very, very subtle. But now, this person coming to this dinner seminar who knows he's getting sold is like, dude, this guy knows Steve Forbes, this guy's a best-selling author, like I read the thing, there were the 5 principles of blah, 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 right? So now they're preconditioned and pre-framed. This is actually a letter that we send out with the physical version of that. There's also 3 emails that go along with this before the event. So we really try to pre-position them, right? So, so here's an email. I wrote this on the plane yesterday to kind of just for you guys to swipe and deploy because I thought, let's do some stuff that you can actually use. So this is someone that called in. They want more information about a vehicle. They're going to come in. They're going to see a vehicle. They're going to come into the service department, replace whatever it is that you do with that, right? So subject, right? We want to write how we talk. Right? Because I talk to my friends like this. Now, you don't have to say hey, you say hi, right? I get that. You might not use the slang I use, but modify, right? So the subject line is, hey Nate, hey Jim. That's how I write emails to like my partner. I'm like, hey Nick, for this event. I'm like, hey Tracy, what time do I got to be at the thing? That's how I write. That's how you talk, right? That's how you write to your friends. That's how I want to write to my prospects, right? So, hey Jim, before you come in and see that Mustang, I wanted you to check this out. It tells you 4 things to know before you test drive, so you know you're getting the car you really want. Check it out here. See you in a few, right? Very subtle, very under the radar. I'm not being a jerk. I'm not being overly salesy. I'm just like, hey, you should check this thing out. It'd be really cool if you did, right?
Yeah, I just want to say that that's like one of the best practices that we
encourage a lot of our dealers to do, especially with our walk-around videos or just any videos that tell a story before they do come in or before you actually call them.
Yeah.
Email something like this is really, really strong. So
Yeah.
comment on that.
Awesome. So.
And we'll post all of it. I know everybody's taking snapshots.
Yeah, I'll make sure you get the slides.
Yeah, and we'll put it on the members only section. So yeah, all the email templates.
Definitely. And so the four things, that can be a video, like he said at the back, it could be a special report, it could be a blog post, it could be anything. Now the way you enhance this and make it better, to make that email extremely powerful, is kind of add media. So, hey Jim, before you come and see that Mustang, I wanted you to check this out. Inc. Magazine just quoted me on 4 ways to prepare for a test drive. I wanted you to see it. I thought it might help you get the car you wanted. You can check it out here. So, just now, subtle, under the radar. Hey, ABC News was over here covering the party we just did for this charity last week. Why don't you check it out before you came in? A local newspaper just did a write-up on us, and I wanted you to check it out, right? Very subtle, very low-key, but now you add in the media, and now they're like, whoa, this sales dude isn't a sales dude, he's a celebrity. Because he's on a magazine, TV, whatever it is, right? So this is like subtle stuff that you guys can start using right now. All your sales reps can always like swipe and deploy this. That's why I kind of wrote this up, because I want you guys to use it, right? So now let's talk about direct mail. I'm a young dude who grew up on the internet, but I have completely switched to a direct mail guy. I think it is the most powerful sales vehicle that there is, especially to prospects and to customers.
We had this whole conversation yesterday.
When's the last time we heard that?
Yeah, yesterday.
Did Troy pay you to say that?
But it's crazy, right? So I'm a young guy. I'm 31. I grew up on the internet. I've never sent like anything in the mail except thank you notes to my grandma for like Christmas, right? That's the only thing I've ever sent in the mail. Now if I'm not sending something in the mail every day, I'm kind of going fidgety and going crazy. Because the return on it, not just the return that I get in investment, but when people don't get mail, and they don't get cool mail, right? If I sent you that catalog in a clear envelope in the mail, you've never seen anything like that in the mail before from a marketing person, right? And when I show you some of the shopping all packages, the stuff that we do, we don't get cool mail, right? We don't get cool mail. So if you can find a way to put this into your budget, and Tracy, if I'm going over on time, let me know, I'll fly through some of this stuff, right? So this is a direct mail sales letter that we send. So he's in, he basically does Obamacare, like restructuring for companies so they can actually save money. I don't know how he makes that magic happen because it's just costing me money, but he makes so you save money. But right at the top is the logos. So the first thing you see when you open this letter from him in the mail is, as seen in or on ABC, CBS, Fox, Fast Company, and Inc. Magazine. We then gave him this whole celebrity aura. If you've been in media, if you've traveled the country and done cool things, so we say they flew him all over the country, put him on camera, and even gave him a publishing deal, all to help you answer one question, right? And it was the single most important question to blah, blah, blah. But like, who do they fly all over the country, right? All he did was come to one of our TV shows in Orlando. He lives in California. He did fly all over the country, right? We gave him a publishing deal because he's writing a chapter in one of our best-selling books. And all to help you answer one question. And in the interview on the TV show that he flew all across the country to do, and in the book, he talks about this one thing that companies need to know about Obamacare, right? So just utilizing that type of language, and now you guys, as long as you're not from Charlotte, right, you're flying all around the country and meeting with the best automotive people in the world to help bring better service to the, you guys are doing that, right? Flying all around the country, taking pictures on red carpets, and meeting some of the top media people in the world, right? You can utilize all that stuff in your headlines and in your copy, right? Picture of him right there. Now on the second page of the sales letter, so they read all the mumbo jumbo on the first page, but then on the second page, right there is, first Inc. Magazine recognized the work I was doing, where I was recently showcased for my business strategies, and then we do the little quote. Next thing you know, I'm on a plane heading to Orlando to be interviewed by Emmy award-winning director Nick Ninn on the America's Experts TV show, and then I was asked to contribute to the next installment of this best-selling book, right? So even just this event that you're at right now, right? So I was asked by some of the top automotive guys in the country to fly all across the country to meet with these people, and next thing you know, I'm sitting on a red carpet with Bob Berg, New York Times best-selling author, and blah blah blah, and next thing so you guys can utilize all that stuff in your marketing, your blog posting, your sales letters, all that stuff. People associate red carpet with celebrity. Use that picture that you guys got with Saturday night you did that, Sunday night, whenever you did it, use it, right? It's no good to you if it just sits on your Facebook feed that your 32 friends and your cousins see, right? It's only good if your prospective clients see it, right? That's the only people you should want to see that thing, right? Another sales letter, as seen and heard on, because they're on the radio. So we even did like iHeartRadio, right? So if you're on any radio station right now, your commercials essentially syndicate to iHeartRadio, but that's like a big deal. It's like an iTunes, right? So we utilize iHeartRadio. And then, so the headline, last year, the host of 610 WRD's Road to Retirement radio show. So right at the top, we're saying they're hosts of a radio show. The hosts of the automotive industry podcasts, you can utilize the same kind of stuff, right? At the bottom, it's a little blurry when you guys see this better. So they're retirement income specialists, right? So they deal with, lack of a better term, old people who are about to retire or just retired, right? Let's just be blunt. I'm just saying it like it is, right? We're selling stuff. Andrew, one of the younger guys, he's like 33 and he just had his second kid, right? So the old people that they're actually trying to sell to, what do they have? Grandkids, right? Automatic, instant affinity, right? So I talked earlier about using your family, using your siblings, using things like that. Boom, we just inserted it right into the sales letter. They got so many calls from people being like, oh my God, your baby's so adorable. I can't wait to come to the seminar, right? So silly, but that is the thing that's going to make them pick up the phone and call you and do business with you, are those little subtle things, right? That's just the second page. I'll make sure you guys get that. I'll skip over it. Direct mail, utilizing multiple sizes, shapes, and formats, right? If you're only doing 6x11 postcards or 4x6 postcards, use something else. Try a sales letter. Try an envelope. Try a number 10 envelope. Try a 9x12 envelope, right? So don't fold paper. Use a half-size envelope. Put the logos right on the envelope, right? So open this up to see how best-selling author reveals his 6 strategies to buying a car with no money down and blah, 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 whatever your crazy offer of the month is, right? Put that right on the envelope. Test it. See what happens. Test it against one that you don't have that. Different postcards, different faces, different images, all that stuff makes a huge, huge difference. And don't give up after one, right? I'm sure that's huge to you. Don't send one postcard and think you're going to change the world, right?
Must have frequency too.
Must have frequency. So let's talk about client media, right? So that's all stuff to do to prospects. So people that raise their hand, they say they're somewhat interested. These are people that have actually given you money, and I want them to give you more money, because once they've given you money, it's much easier to get them to give you more, right? And that's kind of the coolest thing in the entire world. So if they've already given you money, you already are their expert, their guru, their solution, right? And then they've actually voted for that with their money. So we need to continue that, right? So let's talk about the #1 customer retention and ascension tool. This is my favorite thing in the entire world, and it took me about 2 years to realize that it was. And it sounds silly, but it's the newsletter. A print newsletter that you're sending out to all your people. I did not buy into this concept for 2 years. My partner Jack, who's been doing this for 40+ years, every business he's ever done in those 40+ years has had a newsletter. Selling mutual funds, had a newsletter. Had a law practice, had a newsletter. Had a real estate firm, had a newsletter. Has his branding agency, has a newsletter. I didn't get it. I didn't want to spend the money on sending this thing out every single month, because I was like, well, there's no really direct offer in it. It's kind of just like goodwill. He's like, yeah, that goodwill goes a very, very long way with people because you're building relationships with them. You get to assert your expertise every single month. So on the first page, you can kind of have your own State of the Union address every single month. You can say, hey, this past month, we've had some incredible people here in the office. We've been doing some incredible deals. Check out this photo of Jen when she just bought her brand new car. We just changed her life. I mean, you get to have your own podium every month. And this goes to people that already like you, so you're just bumping them up more. Now on the inside, you can do a ton of other stuff as well.
My guess is you probably don't even recommend an email newsletter, do you?
No, I do as well. Email, I like more of the personal communication versus kind of a clump, and like the email, the e-zine kind of thing where there's 18 things going on in the email. The way I write emails, one message, one theme, one offer, right? So my emails are very specific.
So you would never do an email newsletter like you see a lot today?
I personally would not. I want all my communication to be as personable as possible. So when I write emails for clients, I write how I wrote the one that was like 4 pages back. Doesn't mean that all have to be that short, but it's all it's me. Like, the one that went out this morning is, hey, just, woke up in Charlotte this morning, about to talk to some automotive guys, really stoked to do that. I was thinking about you, when I woke up and I was putting together my presentation. So I write
very personal. Would be nothing like this.
No, it would not.
What'd you say, or email one salute? What'd you say, one or email one?
It's just one message, one offer, one concept per email. So here's the thing: direct mail versus email, and this is a big conversation we've had. Who wants more email from me? Like, oh my God, I can't wait for Greg to send me a marketing email every single day, right? No one's ever said that, right? You know, I am so excited to have 400 emails in my inbox when I wake up this morning, and I got to delete them all because they're all crap, right? No one asks for more email. But with the mailbox, you aren't competing with very much. You're competing with 4 or 5 things a day, 10 things a day, 15 things a day. Even if you're competing with 20 things a day, and you're competing with 400 emails, I'd rather be 1 in 20 than 1 in 400.
It's flipped dynamic.
It's totally flipped. And if you're also sending out things that don't look like bills, they might actually read it, right? So newsletters, you just don't get them, right? And so it gives you a chance to stand out in a mailbox where you're 1 of 20, and every single month you get to slap your customers upside the head and remind them that you exist. Because when that coffee table conversation comes around, where your daughter's talking about a car, where your friend's talking about, you know, his car's been making some funny noises, and your newsletter is sitting on their fridge, or sitting on their counter, or they just read an article in your thing, it really helps the referral process, right? So newsletters, I can't recommend them enough. Right now, for most of our clients, it's just a 4-page, right? Cover, open it up, and a back. You don't have to have a 27,000-page newsletter. You just want something in their hands every month that's goodwill. And you can also put ads in there, right? This is, again, media that you own and control. You can put whatever the heck you want in there, right? I recommend that you do showcase some of your clients, so photos from things that are going on, events, have that State of the Union. I'm wrapping up.
Do you see, about 10 minutes, do you see a less return the more aggressive the ads become? I would, and we do one, 4 pages, but there's a service coupon insert.
Yeah.
And the other side is our sales promotion of the month, but it's an insert. It's almost like it's an ad in the content.
Yeah, so we recommend that, right? So obviously it adds cost if you're adding an insert into it versus just having a little ad in the newsletter.
But that's almost, for us, that's the immediate ROI.
Correct. That's the immediate ROI.
And this longer term ROI comes from just the frequency of the newsletter.
100% correct. Yeah, 100% correct. So we do add inserts usually into newsletters, or we have like a coupon in the newsletter. Usually, if it's a coupon in the newsletter, it's for some type of information. In your end, it could be a deal, you know, a coupon of some sort, but usually it's like, get our new report or get our something. Or if you know a friend who's trying to get a car, tell them this is where they can go to get a report. So there's a referral kind of thing in there. So I'm going to go over this real quick because I'm running out of time. Client retention, obviously, it's huge. You're just on their mind every month. New customers. Client ascension is huge because once they've bought something, most of the time, most people don't actually know that you do other stuff. That's kind of the craziest thing in the entire world. You have this huge service department and they have no idea that it exists or that you even own it, right? They bought the car from you and they think that that's all you do. Or that you did service for them once and they have no idea that you sell cars, right? And it happens in every single business, right? A lot of people do our books and they have no idea that we have TV shows and documentaries and marketing services and websites. They just have no clue. Right? Again, you got to tell them, right? And a newsletter is a great subtle place to do that because you can talk about, yeah, Jim came in and he bought a car from us 3 years ago, and every single one.
They know they sold tires.
They have no idea, but people don't, right? Unless you tell them. And you can, in the newsletter, you can do it in a subtle way. Like Jim bought a car from here 4 years ago, and every 6 months he comes in for tires. He just came in for new tires, and boom! Now you've just told everybody that you sell tires without telling people that come in and buy tires, right? It's the non-sales sales where you're still selling stuff, right? Current events, promotions, you're top of mind all the time, right? Every single month you're slapping them in the face that you exist, right? It's very, very powerful that you do that. There's a whole bunch of other points, but I don't think they made the slides because I think there's supposed to be like 8 on each, but you guys get it. Bottom line, send them. Send them every month. We do recommend monthly, right? Just want to be top of mind. If you're not top of mind, someone else is. You guys are in a very competitive market, so if you're not top of mind every single month, someone else is top of mind, right? So this is this is kind of now going to talk a little bit about promotions, marketing tools, campaigns, stuff like that. I want to build your celebrity every single month in some type of promotion, right? So where you're not just in your face making an offer, but you're adding value to people's life, and you make money from doing it, right? So a ton of different ways to do this. Webinars. Has anybody ever sold in this room an automotive product on a webinar? Yeah, awesome. So this would be good, right? So it's something that you don't think about. How the heck can I sell a car on a webinar? Well, maybe you can't, but can you sell appointments off the webinar? Can you sell can you do a mailing, whether it's email or mail or Facebook blasts or whatever it is, to a webinar where you're going to teach the 4 things that you need to know before you trade in your car? You do the webinar. On the webinar, you say, hey, you know, if you like this, we're actually on Saturday, we're having this crazy thing where you can come in and, you know, we'll do a free evaluation of your car and we'll give you some certificate, whatever your offer is. You do that on a webinar and now book 30 appointments on Saturday because you had 100 people on the webinar and book 30 people in. Now you have that webinar, which is the video, which you can now throw on YouTube, which you now get transcribed and turned into a special report, which is the 4 things you need to know about blah, 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 blah. You can turn it into a podcast, throw it up on iTunes. It's a video too, so you can also throw that up on iTunes. You know, you have all these different ways to use it, and I got 30 freaking people in my office on Saturday that weren't going to be there because I helped them first, right? And on a webinar, you can do all kinds of things. You can show pictures, you can show, you know, all the credibility stuff in the beginning where you spend 5–10 minutes telling people who you are, what you do, and you can throw in all the red carpet pictures and all that, and then you can kind of sell them, right? So webinars, huge. A webinar that we've been running in January, you can still run it into February, is the state of the blank address, right? So the state of North Carolina cars address, right? So what's going to happen this year? The state of Ford address. What's going to happen with Ford this year? The state of Lincoln address. What's going to happen with Lincoln this year? And your cars are going to go up in value, down in value, blah, 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 blah. The state of the blank address works really, really well. Live streams. You guys saw it happen in front of you yesterday. This has been our best selling tool. And you guys have showrooms, which is like perfect gold for this, right? To have a camera, 2 cameras, be blasting something on Ustream, and have the car right behind you that you're talking about, and you're just doing a live stream. Again, beaming it to the internet. It's now a video. You can archive it, put it on YouTube, blah, 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 do all that stuff, right? Postcards and sales letters. So if you're not sending more postcards and sales letters to your existing clients, you're crazy. A video sequence, right? So if you're sending these, like, so instead of sending like an e-newsletter, like we were just talking about, what if on you shot 3 videos about a car or about a situation, and on Monday you sent out video 1, on Wednesday you sent out video 2, and on Friday you sent out video 3, and on Saturday you had a full house of people that wanted stuff because you built the anticipation over the week, you educated them, you did it through video, which is a celebrity driving mechanism, right? A product launch, right? So on the internet, we call things a product launch, right? When we launch an information product, we do this whole thing, we get everybody to mail for us, and we promote this product all on one day. Well, you can do the same thing in your marketplace, is getting local vendors, you know, getting other local businesses, getting charities, all to mail out for you, sending to this cool event that you have going on. 4-day cash machine. This is a kind of an internet term. If you Google 4-day cash machine, you can find the email copy that you can steal and use for this. But essentially, it's a 4-day sale, right? And you guys do these anyway, right? You just, you know, but can you do it via email to your existing customers? Can you do it to your existing prospects where, let's say, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on Thursday you send out email 1, hey, for 4 days only, we're doing this, right? And on Friday you say, for the next 3 days, we're doing this. And on Saturday, just 2 more days left. And then on Sunday, you know, final day, right? And if you just Google 4-day cash machine, you'll find those emails. So you can just take that product out and put your product in. This is great for, obviously, service stuff. This is great for cars. This is great for when you have overstock of inventory, or, you know, Chevy just dumped 70,000 cars on my lot. I need to get rid of them tomorrow. We're having a 4-day sale. That's what this is.
And what if you're doing that in combination with the letter that's going out, a sales letter in combination with a live stream all at one time, you blow it up. It's like saturation mail.
Yeah.
It's like killing.
And again, you're the celebrity because you're everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere you turn, oh my God, this person is there, right? Behind the scenes stuff, right? So this is really, really good. So I'm not really supposed to be here, but they're doing an oil change right now, and you know, they got the car up on the lift, and people love that stuff, right? Because they want to be behind the scenes of the movie. They want to be behind the scenes of the action, right? So what can they be behind the scenes of in your business? You know, they just, you know, the trailers here, they just, you know, brought in 20 new cars. I'm not really supposed to be here as they unload them, but it sounds crazy, right? You do those? Yeah, I love it, right? But people just, for some reason, they want to be a part of the action, right? That's why the photos that you guys are shooting here, like you're taking photos of, like, you know, being on the right carpet, so people just want to be a part of the action. How can you make them a part of the action? Show up like nobody else. So I guess it's just my slide's not showing up, but it's cool. So my slide's not showing up like anybody else, but I'm going to fly through this real fast because I got like 2 minutes. And guys, I am hanging out all day. I'm staying the night, so if you guys aren't flying out, I'm more than happy to have lunch, talk about this stuff in more detail. Costumes and uniforms. Again, Tracy and Troy, we were talking about this last night. How the first impression that people have of you isn't necessarily the one that you wanted them to have. Right? They might not come to your website first. They might not walk in the front door first. So costumes, uniforms, the way that you look, very, very important. So my favorite comic book dude is Tony Stark. Super cool dude. I want to drink with that guy. I want to party with that guy. But if aliens come and invade the world, I don't want Tony Stark saving me, right? I want Iron Man saving me, right? So like this dude's cool. I'm having a drink with him, right? But this dude kicks ass and saves the world, right? So it's the same thing in your business, right? I do not want to be in a suit this morning. I want to be in basketball shorts, a t-shirt, and a hooded sweatshirt because it's freezing outside, and I want to be in comfy clothes, right? But it's a costume, right? If I'm running a marketing agency in basketball shorts and a t-shirt, it doesn't resonate, right? So the same thing goes with not just the way that you dress, but with everything that you do, from your packaging, to your materials, to your sales materials, to your brochures, to your flyers, to your videos. We talked about video production a lot last night, right? You know, 5, 6 years ago, it was cool to have the flip camera. Today, it's not. You do have to step your game up, because if they see a shoddy video, that's the first thing they see of you. What are they going to think of your whole operation? Shoddy. Right? So really, really pay attention, right? So how they show up after they raise their hand. So as I was talking about earlier, I want to come in, I'm super hot, I want to test drive some car, I want to come in, I need what you got, right? You're the only one that can get it for me. But if you fizzle after that, if you don't send that follow-up email, if you're not excited to greet him, if you didn't remember his name when he came in, that excitement disappears really, really quickly, right? So you want to keep that excitement up. So this is and again, you'll have the slides so you can see this. At least I can't see it really good up here. It's a shock and awe package that we send out to people once they buy a product, right? So we send them a big box of crap, right? After they buy the product, to say, thank you for buying my stuff, right? So I'm simplifying it, right? It's not a big box of crap. But a big box of stuff to say, thank you, you know, for just buying a $25,000 car. Here's a $20 box of stuff that just makes you feel good about your purchase. Because everybody gets the, I think you guys remember the dopamine of the buy, right? You get dopamine when you buy something, you get super excited, and then what happens the next morning when your wife looks at you and goes, "Did you really buy that freaking car?" Right? Buyer's remorse comes in. FedEx box shows up with a box with a t-shirt and a hat and a mug, and you know, this brochure that tells you the 20 things to how to take care of your car, and a free oil change thing comes in. Wife goes, "Oh shit, they're on top of their game." Right? Completely changes everything about the experience. And now that person's talking about it, right? And he's rocking his hat, right? He's going around, he's doing these little things. It's the little things like that that really make a difference in you showing up like nobody else. It's a $20 box, $30 box. Heck, if it's a $30, $40 box, I mean, it depends on your ticket price, right? You can't give a $40 box away for a $20 oil change. I get that, right? It doesn't make sense. Math doesn't work. But make the math work and show up like nobody else in your market, right? So this is one that we send out to anybody that calls our office. So we're running full-page ads in Inc. magazine, in Fast Company, in Entrepreneur, and in Success magazine. So on the airport, grab any of those, and you'll see a full-page ad. We're offering a free copy of our best-selling book, Celebrity Branding. All you do, essentially, it's free for online, and then a second step, we say it's $6 for shipping and handling if he wants to ship you out. Really, anyone that fills that out, we send them this box. It costs us $40 to send this out, just to anybody who fills out an online form. Right? But we know that everybody who gets this box is worth about $5, $6 grand to us. I'll spend $40 on a box all day long if I'm going to get $5 grand in return. I like that trade. You know, it works really, really well for me. So they get a DVD, right, of the movie. They get a copy of the book. They get a tear sheet, which is one of our articles that ran in the USA Today, and we just reprinted that sheet. They get a press release, and then a special report, and then they get a catalog piece. Right? So we send that out, we FedEx it to them overnight. That's where the majority of the cost comes in. The box is actually printed on, so we got all our boxes like custom printed, so it's not just a red box with a sticker. It's really, really cool.
And that, don't you think spending that extra $5, $6, $7 on the box is important too? I mean, it's cool to get a box of stuff. Yeah, so it's like epic to get a cool box of cool stuff.
The cost of the box is the biggest sticker shock for most of our people. Yeah. But the difference, it's so, everything I'm talking about, it seems silly when you're talking about it, but it makes the biggest difference in the entire world. People get our box, they touch it, they feel it, they take pictures of it, they share it, and sometimes it literally is different. When they come into our office, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you sent me that box. How do I get that box?" Right? And the good thing is we sell that box, so it helps.
Well, just to point out, that's a whole category of videos on YouTube where there are people who are just fans of unboxing things.
Yeah.
They just want to see how creatively and beautifully stuff is packaged.
Right.
And they comment on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Totally. So this is one we do for the product pros. So anyone that becomes a client, one of our other companies, we develop information products for clients. Copy of best-selling book, business card, handwritten letter, which is crazy. People still handwrite letters. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's a crazy thing. A marker on a piece of paper, you handwrite it, you sign it, you put it in the mail. It's crazy, crazy, crazy concept. And then we just print out some special reports. And then we actually send them, we have 5 postcards that says, "Greg helped me create an information product," or "Greg helped me take the stuff that's in my head and turn it into a product. I know you're super smart and have cool stuff, so you should talk to him too." We just send them 5 postcards like that. Almost every single client that gets them, I get a phone call from just sending out the referral piece, right? You send out the referral piece when they're happy about their purchase. When are they most happy about the purchase? Right when they bought the thing. right? We want more stuff after we buy the first thing. So ask for the referral right away. Don't delay the referral. You're waiting like 6 months, a year, because you're like, I don't want to ask them to refer stuff. But they're happy, they're excited, they're at the conversation, they're talking about it. Ask for the referral right away. So we send this box. Again, we FedEx it to people before we even start doing their product stuff. You guys have way cooler office stuff than I'm going to show, but make your walls talk, right? So this is anything that you do on TV, blow it up into a 24 by 36 movie poster, right? 24 by 36 is the poster, is the size of the poster that you see when you go to the movie theater, and all those movie posters are like in the wall outside. That's the size that you want to blow it up to, because people are like, why does this guy have a movie poster in his office? Oh, it's just on TV, you know? They don't know, and it's conversation starter. They also have a frame of, like, when they were in Newsweek, when Tracy unveiled the association thing, like, bells just started ringing. Like, have that, you know, have a frame to put up in your office, you know, utilize all of that stuff. Take a picture on the red carpet, you know, with Tracy at the next event, you know, and then have the frame, and then the picture of you and Tracy on the red carpet. Make it a huge, you know, frame that's in your office. It's a conversation starter. Let your walls talk for you, because your sales reps, apologies to all sales reps in the room, but they miss a lot of that stuff. Right, we were at High Point University. If you guys don't know High Point University, it's close to here, somewhere in North Carolina. It's in High Point, North Carolina. Yeah, High Point. Nito Cabane is the guy that runs that university. If you don't know him, you should definitely know Nito. He was on the speaking tour forever, and now he's one of the most genius business people in the world. But he's got college students that do the tours for incoming freshmen, right? And college students, even the best ones and the best trained ones, are still college students, right? So on the wall, he has things that remind the people giving the tour of what to say on the tour, right? So they walk into the steakhouse, and before they walk into the steakhouse, there's a plaque, and it just dings in the sales rep's head to, oh, I need to talk about this that's about to happen, right? So having those little subtle cues, you know, like I was talking about earlier, Tracy's got this huge golden reel when he was on the bio channel. But if his sales reps aren't cued to know to say, oh yeah, that was, you know, our golden reel, Tracy was on the bio channel, was seen by, you know, hundreds of thousands of people all across the country, blah, blah. If they're not cued to say that, they're not going to say it, right? So have those little subtle cues there. A lot of media stuff. Greg, this sounds great, but how do you implement it? One thing at a time, right? The number one untapped gold mine, without talking to you individually, is probably your prospect list and your customer list. You're not touching them enough. It is so expensive to get someone into your door just to let them go, right? You'll spend tens of thousands of dollars on TV commercials to get them in the door, but you won't spend $5 on 5 postcards or sales letters after they come in the door. Spend the freaking money once you got them. Isn't that math crazy, right?
Crazy math.
I learned that on webinars. I was spending a couple $1,000s to get people on webinars. I'd get them on a webinar. I'd send them one replay email. Like, so the webinar would be on Tuesday, I'd send like a replay on Thursday and Friday. They didn't buy, they didn't buy. But I spent thousands of dollars to get them to the replay, or to the webinar, and I wouldn't spend any money on follow-up. Biggest change when you actually send money to follow-up. We see in our business, more than 60% of the people buy after the initial sales event. They don't buy at the sales event, they buy after the sales event. So if you don't have these follow-up systems in place, you are crazy. So where's your biggest untapped area? Go there. Don't worry about that. I'm just going to give the slides to Tracy. My email, if you guys have questions, is Greg, G-R-E-G, at dnagency.com. dndickstantonagency.com. And again, like I said, I'm hanging out all day today, so if anybody wants to grab lunch, talk, chat more, I'll be around there.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Greg. Come on.